Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. In fact, more than half the work week in the rearview mirror for us here at 104.5 ESPN. I hope that is the case for you as well. We're working towards getting you to that holiday weekend right here on Jordan Kitchens and Cassie Spazzali. Back there on the ones and twos, Koki Riley with us in 15 minutes talking injury. I've got thoughts on LSU and McNeese. Also got a piece up on the might actually be better to read than for me to go through on the air. O'clock, my SEC baseball power rankings coming your way at 2. Let's dive into it with our Genesis opening drive.
Drive presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
ESPN.com today and saw a piece from through the ideal draft for every NFL team. We're now just about a week from draft day. And what do we need to do? And I disagree with in this piece. The second line I agree with, and I think there's a dichotomy between the two. The first line says the Saints simply must get their quarterback. Based on what's going on with Derek Carr, what we all think about him and the directions, like they do have to find it. I don't know if they have to find it in this draft. And the second part of his a reach, but understand the urgency. I would call that a reach as well. That I'm trying to make. And as we get closer and closer to more true. I fully believe that the Saints are operating out of a position of that they need to have. Anything. If you are Jerry Jones and you're up there in age, if you're the Bengals and you've got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you've signed them to long-term deals, like you gotta go. They're simply at a spot where they need to reset. The urgency is as low as of a rebuild. You know what one of the best ways to torpedo a rebuild is? Help you really early in the draft. Chicago Bears, from afar, with all my Chicago Cubs news sources, go rush up there to go get Mitchell Trubisky. Job, football ops lost his job. Like, they made a bad pick. You don't have to do anything rash at the quarterback spot. If you think there are plenty of other needs you can address without torpedoing everybody, you have to go take a quarterback. Now let's do this quick little project here where we go through the quarterbacks that have been taken very early in drafts over the last. But it, I think, hammers home just how volatile and early Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix in the first 12 picks of last year's draft. We all believe Jaden's a superstar. No reason. Drake May looked good at the end of the season. Books out on Michael Penix. J.J. McCarthy hadn't taken a snap. Bo Nix was fine. Understanding of what those guys are. But you back up, like Bryce Young was the first pick in the draft. That doesn't look awesome. C.J. Stroud was the second pick in the draft. Fourth pick in the draft. I don't feel awesome about that. Is there an upside? Sure. Do I feel this was an early pick? That hasn't worked. In the first round. Not even on the same team. Took him at 20. Included Trevor Lawrence at the top. Pretty good. Then Zach Wilson, nope. Trey Lance, nope. Justin Fields, nope. Like, that's not a very good hit rate. Then Herbert, Love, Hurts. Brilliantly, if you do hit on that guy. But that's the outlier. 2019, Kyler Murray, fine. Daniel Jones, bust. Dwayne Hatkins, never really got an opportunity. Go to 2018, Baker Mayfield, okay, he's moved on. Then you got Josh Allen at 7, brilliant. You got Josh Rosen 3. Is terrible. Fully endorse the New Orleans Saints at some point taking a really high pick on a quarterback. I don't know if this is the one. Now, there are so many people that get it wrong, both on ESPN and on Fox and in front offices. Drafting roll the dice than to just sit in the back. If you sit in the back, you never win. But you do have to play it in a calculated manner. And the point that I'm making with the Saints is that they don't have. You've got a lot of chips, meaning time. You have a lot of time. You don't need a quarterback to take all your snaps this year and go. If you forward and do it. If you think Shedeur Sanders is the 43rd best player in this draft, don't take him at 9. Take the guy you have. Plays offensive line, rushes the actual picks as we move forward. But the Saints need players. They need cheap, young players. They don't need a high-risk. So while I agree with the notion that Ben Solak makes to start, no law that says you got to do it at 9. You can do it at 40. You can do it in the 3rd round. That's where I'd like to try to take a real low-risk swing. At the top, no. And mortgaging picks at this point. There will be quarterbacks in the next draft. And guess what? I've got some news that the Saints should probably pretty early in the next draft. Probably going to pick really early in the next draft. Position of strength. You've got 4 starters from this draft, including the 9th overall pick, that give you a stronger foundation to start pushing off the dock with said new quarterback. Now, there are some things how patient the executives have promised to be with Kellen Moore. I can guess because they've been super patient now. We were trying to be even more patient with Dennis Allen when we knew patience is in abundance over there on airline. So my guess is they're going to be pretty patient with Kellen Moore. They should be based on. So if you have that promise of patience and you understand fully where the organization is, I think that lessens your eagerness and make a pick at quarterback. Now, on the flip side of this argument, because I always like to look at both sides, if you fine, take him. Take him. This is about your trusting your people, your evaluations, and sticking to that. Now, I hear Saints fans. Look at the bust they've had in the first round. Relative athletic scores and all this garbage and Davenport. Like, I got it. But all I can do is trust the people. Gosh. These are the people in charge. So you've got to allow them to do it because they're the ones there. So if you have Shedeur Sanders at 40 and you take him at 9 because, hey, we got to have a quarterback, incorrect. If you have him as the 8th best player on your board, the notion the Saints must draft the franchise quarterback in this draft. I'm not against them drafting a quarterback in the middle of the draft. I'm against them rushing to the podium to draft a quarterback and really high-end quarterbacks are a risky proposition. If you have a bunch, weigh in with that. That's our Genesis opening drive here on Wednesday. Welcome to our Wednesday shows, Renaissance. I cannot recommend Renaissance Homes and Pools anymore. It's a phenomenal organization. You got a local. My guy Joey Blanchard is going to be right there with you every step of the way with your new pool. With his laptop. And you're going to go through this incredible software where you can visualize the entirety of your pool with the click of a button. And once you've completed that process with Joey, the owner of the company, he's going to be there every step of the way while it's being dug, while it's being company. Go with a local company that's going to be there and have a first-hand experience with you. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. Check out the website, builtbyrenaissance.com. Pool, outdoor kitchen in here this summer. You can get that process started very, very quickly by going to the website, built by his phone number each and that's 225-252-7745 each and every week. Take a time out. Come back with Koki Riley of The Advocate next.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When you can't rely on technology, on mountain cold refreshment, choose chill.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here. All vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance with the latest in office technology. Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-562644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. And great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy. Family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are charged. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a life.
Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. Smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. With supported by a 5-star sales service and so go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance. Night over the McNeese Cowboys, who were coming in with the nation's longest winning streak. McNeese had won 12 freshman pitchers. Koki Riley covers the team for The Advocate. Was on site last night. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Koki, how are you? LSU last night kind of exercised the demons after a tough weekend on the Plains. Let's talk about that. The week that cranks up tomorrow, and certainly get into Gavin Guidry as well. What did you see at all?
That had just a really bad weekend at the plate, and this happens at every level of baseball. Sometimes everyone gets cold at the same time, and it just takes a couple at bats where you're not. And then you're forcing things, being too aggressive early in counts, and your process gets all out of whack. And I think that's exactly what happens to this team. That happened over the weekend, if I'm being honest, that really matter in the postseason. But how comfortably they could be a super regional team in terms of hosting a super regional. That, but I don't really think it changes fundamentally.
After last week in Norman, I was like, I think they pitched it pretty good, but the conditions were really bad. I just think the most important thing is it's a big indictment on the team, but you did lose 3 opportunities to get a win. Line scores were very good. Any of that concerning?
Not super duper. Like, I think with Anthony, I feel like I kind of know what he is at this point, where be an adventure, and how much luck can he get? It's like, what kind of luck can he get in terms of guys catching fly balls? You know, just kind of what we've seen so far through, five. Yeah, it's the second time through first time through the order again, like he was again this week. He was more than fine. They can only give up one hit. And then after that, that's when, guys started seeing the ball pretty well and hitting it around the park a little bit. And the key for him, can you get more of those 2 runs and 5 innings appearances, right? Then with Cade, like, it's interesting though, right? Really, really good. And he's clearly the best starting pitcher on this team. Sometimes he'll leave a couple balls over the plate too much, and then teams will just a lot of strikes, so guys are prepared to swing, and you leave too many balls in the middle. Anthony Ianson, sometimes when you throw so many strikes, it can actually hurt you. As for Chase, I think his outing was kind of affected by the fact that they had Zach. So, and the fact that they haven't hit at all. So, I think Jay even said this to me after the game. We haven't been hitting all weekend. Plus, we have these 2 guys available for that long. And, it was a very shaky, very, very shaky performance from him. It was probably a step back from what we've seen the last 2 weeks. So, another good data point for all those guys. And they're going to need that last data point because we'll see.
We will. Quick aside, how was the renovated Plainsman Park?
A lot of luxury seating.
Okay.
Like the most luxury seating I've seen out of any SEC park. Behind home plate, up where we were, and right field, the left field wall, all that's premium seating, and 7,000 people. It's kind of an interesting little experience. And in terms from an environment standpoint, the fans weren't. I don't want to sound too mean when I say this. The fans weren't totally into it. The environment itself wasn't actually that intimidating. So I would kind of bump up to any idea that would be around the environment really shook the players. Well, I don't think that was really the case. What shook the players, I guess, ended up being themselves, and just their the way things kind of snowballed on them from a pure performance perspective. I don't think it had much to do with the vaunted road environment at Auburn. Even though there were probably more people and it was a little louder than Oklahoma, but that's not saying a lot because Oklahoma only holds 3,000 people.
Yeah.
So.
And my point on that is it's no one lives in Auburn. No one lives in Oxford. No one lives in Athens, Georgia. Relatively speaking, they're very, very small towns. You have to make it kind of an experience for people to come in for a weekend series.
Yeah.
So I think Auburn makes a good point doing that and drawing people in. It's not like Baton Rouge or Knoxville or Columbia, South Carolina, which are actual cities that have enough people to draw to a weekend baseball series. I think it was probably wise that Auburn built it that way.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And, they want to build up more money for that program, and that's probably the easiest way they can do it. You put more money into something, you're probably going to get a lot of money out if you do it right, and that's kind of their goal, it seems like. And I'm pretty sure their AD is baseball forward, right? So I think that's what the goal is over there, and it seems pretty smart. It's a very, very nice facility. The facility itself is as good as they say.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. Last night, Gavin Guidry out for the season. Teams played without him, but was there a reasonable expectation that he might have helped?
Yeah, he definitely could have helped this team if he was healthy. Like, they dominant in those Case Nevins and Zach Cowan. But that he could have been a real. They could use the extra, really, really reliable arm out of the bullpen. Even though the bullpen, a few games, and at Auburn they were excellent. One earned run, and that was a pretty pleasant surprise given how much everything else kind of struggled. They were pretty solid. So, like, it's just a whole group of guys who are just starting to throw more strikes. And when things kind of go sideways sometimes, it never goes off the rails, Like Maverick Rizzi type situation anyway, with first and second and one out, and like a really bad inning there could have put McNeese State back into the game, and he just gets 2 strikeouts and gets 6 and 2 and ends his outing with 6 and 2 and 2. Very beginning of conference play. And now you're kind of seeing it. So it kind of shows you that maybe the floor of this bullpen is raising up a little bit. And that's what they need, because we already know the ceiling is kind of there with these guys, given their. It's kind of just how I view that. All the pitching you can get when it comes to the postseason, as we've learned over the years. So helpful for this team, but at the same time, they're probably in a better spot. I feel better about where they are right now than I did.
And I wasn't in the ballpark last night, had dad duties, but I was watching, and on TV, Rizzi looked phenomenal. What did that look like in person last night?
Yeah, I mean, his fastball was more upper 90s than mid 90s, so he was just feeling it, and it just seemed like from a mechanical standpoint, was a little bit cleaner. He's such a big guy that sometimes I feel like he doesn't totally have like super duper control of every aspect of his delivery. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's just hard to do that when you're that big. And there's a reason why the big guys sometimes have trouble finding their command. There's a reason why Randy Johnson struggled to throw the ball to the plate for 6 or 7 years, And it seems like last night it really, as the season has gone along, he's maybe done a slightly better job of just feeling out his own body, I guess, even though I don't know if he would say that or Jay would say that, but that's what it just looks like to my, fairly untrained eye. So, that's really the key for him. Like, if he can throw the ball over the plate, like, he's not going to give up that many runs. He might give up a hit here and a hit there because hitters are good, and metal bats make a big difference. But at the same time, like, when you throw 97 with a bowling ball fastball and have a pretty good slider to go along with it, you're going to be tough to hit, and he's tough to hit.
He's Koki Riley, covering the LSU baseball squad for the Advocate. He's with us every single Wednesday. Koki, we appreciate it. Enjoy the baseball this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Always enjoy our conversations with Koki, talking Tigers. Got a big one coming up this weekend. Alabama, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the Box. I'll give you my thoughts on LSU McNeese at the end of the hour here. When we come back, play a little What If Wednesday on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. When you think Genesis, think luxury. It's what it is. It's a luxury brand of vehicles, a luxury experience at a reasonable price. So when I say luxury, don't think, well, that's clearly out of my price range. You might be surprised. You won't know unless you go see. Go see him at Airline on Piku, just across from Women's Hospital. Phenomenal staff there. Incredible facility. The dealership, as I've told you all a few times, when I was in the insurance business, I worked with car dealers, and I've been in a lot of dealerships all over the state, and I can tell you that I've never been in one that's finer than this one. The service aisle is impeccably clean. The vibes and the ambiance is really, really nice. It's got a great coffee machine right there in the service aisle. They got some snacks set out for you as well. They got a little rock waterfall. It feels like a 4-star hotel in there. Go in there, check them out. Get behind the wheel of a Genesis. You will feel the Genesis difference. At Genesis of Baton Rouge, you can find every car that is on the lot online at genesisofbatonrouge.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance with the latest in office technology from have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756.
Man, age is just a number. Aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are, you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hunt Palmer, lover of LSU, Shreveport, and mayonnaise on hot dogs. The Hunt Palmer Show.
Back here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Appreciate Koki Riley for stopping in. Second hour, got a lot to do. I've got some regarding just purely SEC numbers, some big picture stuff and how I point, and a lot of that is up on Louisiana Sports right now. There's a story called Statistically Speaking. You can also check it out on my Twitter at HuntPalmer88. But I'll get into that 25 minutes from right now. Got some Saints to get into with Derek Carr. Is he faking an injury? Talk about that in the second hour. And my SEC baseball power ranking right this second is What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
All right, to start off What If Wednesday. What if you could pick 1 month to go to the beach? What is it?
I have a strong answer on this. I feel very strongly about this. First of all, I love going to the beach in the summer. I love in June, July. It's great. I don't care about being hot. That's what the water's for. That's what the cold ice chest is for. Yeah. I'm fine going in the summer. The best month I have ever been to the beach is October. I'm excited to go next week. Our whole family's going for an April deal. My parents, my sister and brother-in-law, their kids, our kid, the whole family's going. It's going to be great.
Perfect weather.
October, nobody's there.
Yeah.
It's like 78 degrees.
Yeah.
It's still. I loved it. I don't get a chance to really do that anymore because I'm there, and during football season, they strongly discourage that for good reason. On this.
Okay, so what if Daniel Dickinson hits leadoff moving forward?
So he'll lead off last night. That obviously moves Derek Carr off the leadoff spot. What's the goal of the leadoff hitter? The goal of the leadoff hitter is to get on base. He gets on base every game and has in his entire college career. He's not had one game where he didn't. 1-2. I think it's great. If you feel like Daniel Dickinson is more likely leadoff spot and then go righty, lefty with top.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Plus, you've got to up most often who are doing a good job of getting on base. I'm perfectly fine with doing it that way too. It's not point to one of those decisions and go, that's wrong. I think some people were a little bit jarred last night looking at that. There may have been a deal where so it doesn't really matter to me. I'm okay with it. There are some things that I have, like I didn't like last year when LSU was scuffling on offense and Tommy White at leadoff. I didn't like that because you were guaranteeing that for one was going to hit with nobody on base. And the goal for that is on base for them to try to get a big swing. And when you lead off the game, perspective, this is not one of them. I think it's fine.
Okay. So speaking about LSU baseball, if you could add a player from the 2023 team to this team, who would it be?
Interesting. I think the two things that come to mind immediately.
Yes.
And Ty Floyd's the obvious answer. Put Ty Floyd in this rotation, you're either right in front of or right behind Cade Anderson. Better, for sure. But the first half of that season, and he came on really strong. And I'm hoping there's some of that in Anthony Ianson this year. Hoping there's some of that in Chase Shores this year. The other options would be
Morgan potentially.
I have a great first baseman in Jared Jones. Immeasurably better as far as production from what I'm going to take out of the lineup to put him in there. Jones at third, sit Braswell or Reeves, and then play Morgan at. I think that when I think about power, I think field. I think about Cade Beloso as a DH, maybe. Were phenomenal, but I think ultimately, and I theoretically go Cade Anderson first, Ty Floyd second, and then Anthony Ianson is my number 3, and then move Chase Shores back into the bullpen. I think that's probably the best way to go. I think
Roger Goodell calls you and says, Hunt Palmer, we need you to call the Saints pick at the draft. What are you doing? Are you actually going to do that?
be there. But if I get to name my pick, if I get to name the player the Saints pick realistically, I'm not going to go with Cam Ward. We're going to be a little bit more realistic than that. There's no way that Cam Ward's there. I think I'm going with Mason Graham, the defensive lineman from Michigan. I think that's the ideal pick for the Saints. It would be phenomenal. I have no issue at all taking. There are a lot of guys that I'd be fine with for the Saints, but I think on the interior of the defensive line, he's a better run stopper. Pass rush ability. I think that would be my ideal pick if I was the Saints. But guess what? I'm the host of the show. I get to make the rules of the show. Yeah. I'll let you pick whoever. And you can basically have anybody else you want.
Well, I mean, if it's anybody. Oh, I mean, I would go Travis Hunter 10 times out of 10. Just because, well, Olave got number 12, so that'd be a problem.
I don't think they're worried.
But, you know, just off, like I said, quarterback, that's not the immediate fix for this team. It would be nice, but that's not the immediate fix. Travis, he actually can play every play, but he'll be dynamic. Jersey sales, like I said,
he's not going to be there.
It was too tantalizing.
That's good. Do you have a second pick? That's the best pick. But he's. Yeah. I think there's a 10%. 9 out of 10 times he's not there, but maybe there's a chance at 10. Okay. At 9. But is there? Right. I don't think there's any chance Travis.
No chance at all. He would.
A gas mask full of weed. Mask. Okay. Well, let's
on draft day. That's the. McMillan kind of scared me away with the whole video. We need a receiver. We have too many. Nice.
I like that pick as well.
Yeah, I like him. I would like Will Johnson. Again, we need a cornerback. So either out of McMillan, Will Johnson. That's like. But I'm going to do.
So tomorrow's my list for the Saints. You're hitting on some of mine there, but for me, Mason Graham is
I'll be spitting, Hunt. You know, I'll be spitting.
There you go. Mason Graham is my number one wish for the Saints. They could make that happen. I think it would be awesome. I think he's such a high floor player that does, in fact, have a high ceiling as well. So that's it for What If Wins. Renaissance, homes, and pools. I'm going to give you Joey's number at the end of this read. So if you're looking, call Joey, and I'll give you his number here at the end of the read. But I'll tell you, local business, and you can away. He's the owner of the company. You pick up the phone and call this number, you're going to get Joey. When you have the initial meeting where you go over the design, that meeting with Joey and his laptop, you're going to look into the software. If you've got an idea of what you want, he'll work with you on that. If you'd like some options, he can handle that. You sit down for that you want, and then you can see in this software that they've got at Renaissance Homes and Pools what that pool is going to look like exactly. They can do it to scale. They can put the furniture out there, get your any accessory that you may want, and then they'll make it a had that process work from start to finish, depending on the size of it, and you understand that every pool is not the same, 6 to 8 weeks. And then you can be in your pool. Maybe November. Work with Joey Blanchard and built in Renaissance. Renaissance.com is the website, built by Renaissance.com. And here's that number that I promised you, 225-252-7745. 225 with the pool of your dreams with Renaissance Homes and Pools. Come back and close it out. My thoughts on LSU and McNeese last night. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
The extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. service and finance team. And backed by the one-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes.
You gotta believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Whole team on wild.
ED, your health and performance. Goodwood Men's specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots, education, engineering, legal, and finance segment units. Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-7544 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. And it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-111.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 19.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad. They've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, a really nice win for LSU as midweek wins go last night. 10-3 over McNeese. Cowboys came in with the longest winning streak in the country at 12 games. They were playing really good baseball, had gotten a sweep over Incarnate Word. He was swept at Auburn. I'm not suggesting those two are the same, but McNeese is a good team. They do a really good job. They don't strike out a lot, and they've won large tournament for the NCAA tournament. Now they're going to have to work to get there, and last night would have been a nice feather in their cap. They didn't get it because LSU played some pretty good baseball. After the weekend offensively at Auburn, it was good to see him break out for 3 runs there in the first inning. You see Jared Jones bash a 2-run home and run with it a little bit. Yes, Jared Jones has 12 home runs on the season, and yes, 11 of those are in non-conference play. Only one is in league play. But I would rather him hit home runs in the non-conference than rifled a single into the left center field gap to score a run in the second inning. So he batted 2 balls in the first 2 innings over 100 miles an hour last night, which was really nice to see. Guys, 3 for 4 night on offense. The story was the 3 freshman pitchers that were, in my estimation, really good. Maverick Rizzi was sensational last night. His final line is great, too. But the fact that he came in, he did hit the first guy, which loaded the bases, but then he buckled down and boom, boom. That inning, and then really never looked back. His fastball was 97-98. Great, and one of the telling statistics is that 31 of his 41 pitches. Bit more detail in the next segment. We get into some statistics, but last night I thought he was great. William third, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. But just watching the outing, I really felt good about it. Pitchers work. When someone is in complete command, I feel like they're driving the baseball to the glove, driving it into the strike zone. It's like it's on a monorail. There have been outings this year for William Schmidt where the fastball is still 90. Not commanded. You're missing by 1.5 feet, 2 feet. It's not a competitive pitch on 3-2. There's just the command is just not there. I felt like he was just driving the ball to the glove, and it was with the breaking ball for strike 3s and for first strikes. And it was with the fastball. I thought he looked awesome. And then behind 2-0, lays a fastball in there. Then he falls behind 3-0, and one of McNeese's best hitters, green 0-3 light. A 3-0 green light, and hits the ball out of the ballpark to right field. And that's where he just lost his command. Now the next 2 big swings came from big-time advantage hitter counts, and you've got to in Thibodeau last week that he built on that last night. Again, the line is not sparkling. It doesn't look as good as Rizzi's, but just you saw Cooper Williams come in, and he goes 1 inning, 3 up, 3 down, gets a fly out and 2 punch outs. I thought he looked very good as well. I think he is probably a little bit further off of Rizzi and Schmidt where they are. What Jacob Myers is doing, he threw the last inning of the game, gave up 1 hit, but he did have 2 strikeouts, and Jay continues to sing his praises. That's always going to be a little bit of at times, but I do have to tip my cap where credit is due. Jacob Myers last night threw 19 pitches, 14 of them were for strikes, so that's an excellent. It is LSU. I said that yesterday. It is a good team. It is a regional caliber club. In any of the games over the weekend at Auburn, got some quality pitching performances from a lot of guys that we figured would be in the ball game. Taking care of business in the midweek thus far. I think they're 11-0 now in midweek games, and you're talking about an RPI number 8 or number 9, depending on what happened earlier today. So it's involved all aspects of the game, and I think when you hammer out 13 hits and 10 runs, you can't help but feel on Thursday as Alabama comes to Alex Box Stadium in Alabama to get some momentum going. performance. We got a lot more baseball coming in hour number 2 to start off the hour. I got a deep dive on quite aware of, so we'll get into that after Sports Center. If you missed any of the first hour, search Hunt Palmer Show, like, subscribe, rate, and review. Do the Saints have to take LSU baseball on What If Wednesday? Second hour, we got some LSU on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, closet space may not seem important to you, but it is important to some. And my wife moved into our first in winter clothes in one closet in a different room, and she had stuff up in the attic. We didn't have the room, and so we prioritized closet. You don't have to move to make that happiness happen. Just call David Duvall, One Bath and Closets. They can create more efficiently. They've got financing options available, 0% for 18 months, same as cash. Start that process today with a free consultation at onebathandclosets.com. He's been doing it for 3 decades. You can find David Duvall and his team online. It's onebathandclosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase. Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful. They're nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from 8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Discrete services to address your specific needs. We visit yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And that extra mile. Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since. Family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious. Find yourself in trouble with the law. Know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. Have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana.
This is Sports Center.
Nation begins with Heat Bowls, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN. Winner meets Atlanta Friday for 8th in the East, then Mavericks Kings. The defining aspect of that game will involve the latest Anthony Davis-Domantas Sabonis matchup. ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
Sabonis won a lot of those when AD was playing for the Lakers, and the Kings were not as strong. Look, with the Kings having made midseason moves and AD now with Dallas.
Winner of that game will meet Memphis Friday for 8th in the West. In ESPN's draft projections. Former Heisman Trophy winner and first-round NBA draft pick Charlie Ward set to become the men's basketball coach at Florida. First after hip surgery, game time decision for tonight's regular season finale. Dallas faces Colorado in the first round.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday. I'll tell you why these teams better not fool themselves into overdrafting the wrong guy. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on you.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Lots to do over the final hour. Off on Friday. Appreciate you hanging out with us. SEC Baseball Power Rankings coming your way in 30 minutes. I've got a piece up at LouisianaSports.net. And I do this a good bit during football season. I've done it a couple times now. To some numbers, which I like. Monologue here where and I tell y'all what they tell me. Sometimes I have a preconceived notion and I go in and see if the statistics back that up or don't. Where I sat down and I go, okay, let's just see what's in here. Because I don't do that every 3 days. Like I don't dive too deeply in, but and one of the questions was about this team. Who's going to hit the homers? Because while it may be overvalued to some people, I think it's important to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And there are certainly days in do nothing but launch the ball up in the air. But you do have to do it some because it just makes life a lot easier to get the one big swing than to have to score 3 runs. Wouldn't you rather walk, single, and hit one over the feet, the seat? Single, walk, single, hit by pitch. Double, like it's just there's just a lot more that goes into it when you can't create the big swing. And so who's going to hit the home runs for LSU? Half their league schedule. It's 15 games. They've got 17 home runs in league play. Now I know they still 17 home runs in 15 games. 2023 was an amazing team. One of the best teams, I think, LSU's ever fielded. They hit 61 home runs in league play, so half would be about 30. Last year's team, which was not a juggernaut and was not winning a lot of games early in league play and did only play, they hit 47 home runs in league play. So you're not hitting enough home runs. in league play. So how do you find some of that? Where could you this a couple times? I tweeted it. Jared Jones has hit 1 home run in the first 15 league games. I think it's reasonable to suggest he'll hit more than 1 in the last 15. Home runs on the year. He's only got 2 in the league. Ethan shown some pop. They need to hit more than their combined 3 SEC home runs. But 17 first-half home runs is not going to get it done. The second half of SEC play needs to be that's what they need to hit in the second half. Launching pad. I know that there are some pretty good arms that are on the slate left, but you gotta hit some more home runs in the second half. That's just some positive to this offense in terms of its balance, though. Now, when you look at the total of the season, this is not just league games. This is the total of the season, and everybody's played some good teams. Everybody's played some not so good teams. I can't go one fairly comparable. I think we can agree to that. LSU this up, but it's still a relevant talking point. I'm not going to completely dismiss batting average. The 2023 team that won the national championship did not have a ton of guys that just raked in SEC play. In fact, only 4, and I use air quotes here because Braden Jobert wasn't really an everyday player, but he played a lot. Only 4 everyday players hit better than 260 in SEC play that year. 260 is not a high bar. But you had Cruz at 405 in SEC play, White at 361, Jobert at 303, and then Trey Morgan hit 281. But just Cruz, White, Jobert, and Morgan were the only guys on that team that hit 260 or better in league play. This LSU team already has 5 players above that threshold at 260, and there are 2 guys that are not above 260 in league play that I feel pretty good about. That's Stephen Milam and Jared Jones. Jared Jones in the first half of SEC play is hitting 254 with 1 home run. I feel like that's going to be better in the last 15 games. That's just a hunch. Stephen Milam's hitting 231 in league games. He's a better hitter than that. If you get 5 guys who are hitting better than 260 plus Milam and Jones, all of a sudden now you're talking about 7 guys swinging the bats with some consistency. That's more than 2023 could say from a batting average perspective. I know, slugging percentage, home runs, all that. It's not, I'm not painting this as a black and white picture, but I'm telling you that if you want to be considered a championship level team, you have to do it your way. And LSU's way with this group is not going to be hitting as many home runs as Jobert and White and Cruz and Dugas and Beloso and Travinsky. Like, they're not going to hit that many homers. They've got to have more guys consistently getting base hits, getting on base. And that's the way they've got to do this. I want to give a shout out to Michael Braswell in the statistically speaking space because he hit 310 in SEC play last year, and he's at 308 in league play this year. If you combine those year and a half, so it's 45 SEC games, he's hitting 310. That's a large sample size for a college player. He's a 300 hitter in league play. That's a good piece to the bottom of the order for LSU, if not a huge run producer. All right, as far as the pitching goes, I think this is really fascinating. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds here numbers-wise because I know they don't play perfectly on radio, but let me give you Zach Cowan and Kason Evans. Let me give you their SEC statistics combined. This is SEC statistics. Doesn't count Purdue, Fort Wayne. Doesn't count whoever they played. I can't even remember some of the teams they played. They weren't very good. This is only SEC teams. 34 innings. 1 extra base hit in 34 innings. These 2 guys have allowed 1 extra base hit. It was a double. No homers. They have 43 strikeouts and 9 walks. They have given up a total in 34 innings of 2 earned runs. Those 2 guys are absolutely shut down at this point, and the statistics very much bear that out. Chris Marler over at LouisianaSports.net put out a graphic earlier today. LSU is 23-0 when leading after the 7th inning this year. 23-0. These guys are not missing. Now, I think it's reasonable. I'm not trying to be a harbinger of bad news, but the thought that Zach Cowan and Kason Evans are going to be perfect for 10 weeks seems a little far-fetched. But right now, they've been perfect. You're 24-0 when you lead after the 7th inning, and these guys have given up 2 earned runs in 34 SEC innings. The ERA is .53. They're giving up half a run every 9 innings. So that weapon is just so valuable for this LSU team, the way they're throwing the baseball. And so what have we talked about outside of those guys? Who else is going to step up? And I'm sensing a trend, and we talked about this at the end of the last hour. But statistically, Maverick Rizzi is starting to settle in. Over his last 8 appearances for the freshman right-hander, he has worked 12 innings and allowed just 3 earned runs. So that's an earned run every 4 innings. Your ERA is just north of 2. He has not walked multiple hitters in any appearance over those 12 innings. That's 8 appearances. None of them have featured 2 or more walks. He has not allowed multiple earned runs in an outing since February 28th against Kansas State. That's pretty good. And the line score over the last 12 innings, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 13 strikeouts, 3 walks, only 1 extra base hit. And Maverick Rizzi this season has not allowed a home run. So I understand that you may not have quite as much confidence in Maverick Rizzi as some bullpen arms over the course of the last 15 years. But statistically speaking, purely, he's getting outs at a very, very high clip, and he's not giving up a ton of hard contact. He gave up 5 hits in the game he pitched over the weekend, but he only gave up 1 earned run. And you look at the last 2 outings, the one on Tuesday night, last night, and the game he pitched against Auburn, he's throwing strikes at a 70% clip. When you throw strikes at a 70% clip with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and a plus slider, you are going to get a lot of people out. And so you know what you have in Cowan and Evans, almost perfection to this point. Connor Benj has really worked his way into a get-out-of-trouble 97-mile-an-hour fastball, good slider, good temperament, throwing a lot of strikes. He's gotten you out of a lot of dirty innings. And now you've got Maverick Rizzi, who's really coming on. And I thought William Schmidt's last 2 outings in the midweek were very, very encouraging. I've been telling you for 3 weeks, it doesn't always happen immediately. You got to wait for some guys to materialize. And I've given you the examples over the last 2 years. 2 years ago with Riley Cooper, Ty Floyd. Saw those guys really come on. Nate Ackenhausen became a really key piece for you. Last season, unquestionably, you saw Christian Little throw the ball better late than he did early. You saw Gage Jump and Luke Holman take steps late that they didn't take early. And you've got to hope that there's some of that in this staff. And if you can get that from Maverick Rizzi and from Connor Benj, and then you can add them to a bullpen that already includes Zach Cowan and Kason Evans, and you can have 4 guys that you absolutely trust, and I'm not even counting Connor Ware, and I'm not even counting William Schmidt, who I think you feel like have the ability, even though Ware was bad last night. You're starting to get to that spot where most of the great Omaha teams are. There aren't a lot of teams that feature 9 stud pitchers. I'd love it if LSU did that. That'd be great. But that's not reality most of the time. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I've seen a lot of teams in Omaha. They don't go 1 to 9 on the pitching staff. If you can go 1 to 6, 1 to 7 that you really feel good about, you're in as good a spot as anybody. It doesn't guarantee you anything, but you're in as good a spot as anybody. And I think LSU's working towards that. They've got to hit the ball out of the ballpark a little bit more often. Anthony Ianson needs to be a little bit better. Chase Shores needs to be a little bit better. But there's some stuff to work with here, and they put themselves in a good spot halfway through SEC play. Tomorrow, you got to go out and you have to go get 2 games this weekend. I don't feel like leaking oil into Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. That's not a good place to be leaking oil into. It's clearly the meat of your schedule. And for those that are rolling your eye on Texas A&M, they've won 5 SEC games in a row. They've won 7 games in a row overall. They still got their back up against it, and they got to go to Fayetteville this weekend, and they got to go to Texas the next weekend. So they got 6 brutal games coming up. But you need to put yourself in the best position possible getting into those 9 league games. And if you can get there at 12-6, that's a really advantageous spot. We'll see. That's some statistically speaking. There's more at LouisianaSports.net if you want to go check out some LSU baseball information. Appreciate y'all reading us there at LouisianaSports.net and hanging out with us here on Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll step aside. When we come back, is Derek Carr faking an injury? We'll talk about it.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every single new Genesis purchase comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. 10 years? 10 years. That's a long time. A decade. What were you doing 10 years ago? Think if you bought a Genesis tomorrow, 10 years from now, still be into that warranty. 100,000-mile warranty as well. Plus, if you get a new Genesis, get 3 years of complimentary maintenance, 3 years of complimentary valet maintenance. They come to you, they pick your car up, they handle the maintenance work. You don't have to sit on the service aisle all day. Nobody loves doing that anyway. It's all part of the experience of being a Genesis driver. Every car on every model on the line comes with the IIHA Top Safety Pick. Some of them were Top Safety Picks Plus. Safe, stylish, comfortable, fun. Wonderful experience over at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Go see them at Airline at Pico. Check them out at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-11.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show. Hopefully Hunt remembered to bring his laptop charger. Nah, there's no chance.
All right. There's a growing push of this story with Derek Carr in the national media, and it's starting to pick up a lot of steam. And I am one who, generally speaking, hesitates to jump to conclusions when we're talking about anonymous sources or this person says that. There's just too much generally in the narrative that's pushed by agents, pushed by teams, pushed by players. And I just hesitate to jump all the way in the pool with stories that are materializing that way. When I see somebody at a press conference talk, we'll talk about it. You see something that goes on the field, like I'm right here. When there's stuff that's bubbling behind the scenes, I'm usually not going to be the first person to go nuts on it. But if you paid any attention over the last 48 hours, you heard Diana Rossini on her podcast with Chase Daniels talking about how she felt like maybe not actually a shoulder injury for Derek Carr. Maybe just a situation where he's pushing a trade. And then Ari Myrov at My Sports Update on Twitter, who covers the NFL, basically echoes that. He tweeted out, there's buzz around the NFL circles that Derek Carr has been wanting out of the New Orleans Saints all offseason. His shoulder injury might be part of that push. Meanwhile, the Saints have been planning to draft a quarterback regardless. We have not heard the end of this. He goes on and says that things feel fishy. There's only one conclusion to this story. Derek Carr cannot be on the roster when training camp shows up. Like, that's the only way that this works. I don't know what the Saints can get for him in the trade market. Usually, teams will play ball for a quarterback to an extent. You're not going to get first, second, third round pick for Derek Carr. I'm not crazy, but you might get something. You might be able to get a 6th rounder. You might be able to get a 7th rounder. You might be able to get something. And yes, it is going to cost you dead money in next season's cap. But this marriage has to end now. We all hope and want the players for our team, whether it's a college team or a professional team, to feel the way about our team that we do. They want to do everything they can to better that team. They want to do whatever they can to make that team win. We want them to take pay cuts. We want them to put in work. We don't want them to go on vacation. We want them to love our city, our team, the way we love our city, our team. And very rarely, like in some instances, that happens. In some instances, that happens. In a lot of instances, it doesn't, because this is a job. That's been the case forever and ever in professional sports. It is now the case in college. But Derek Carr does not care about the city of New Orleans. He does not care about the New Orleans Saints. He does not want to play for the New Orleans Saints. And so having him around brings zero benefit. He cannot mentor young quarterbacks. He doesn't want them there. He cannot produce for the team. He may be hurt. He may not be interested. There is no aspect of Derek Carr that is going to be beneficial to the New Orleans Saints while he's on the roster moving forward, period. So you have to get rid of him. You either trade him or you cut the bait and move on. I talked about this earlier when it relates to the NFL draft. It ties in perfectly to the Derek Carr situation as well. The Saints are not under the gun. The Saints don't have to do everything they can to put a great product on the field in 2025. If you think getting rid of Derek Carr makes your product worse in 25, I don't care. In fact, if your product's worse in 2025, you might be able to draft a good quarterback in the next draft who can play much better than Derek Carr, and you just wait a year to do it. That's perfectly acceptable. But Derek Carr is not, in my opinion, acting like a teammate. He's acting like a jerk. He's acting like a crybaby, if these reports are correct, and he has to go. And yes, that is kowtowing to his wants and desires. But guess what? You've already made the mistake. The mistake was made when he was inked to the deal first, when it was restructured, when it was restructured again. They were all mistakes, and they're all in the past, and you can't fix them. But you can do what's best for the New Orleans Saints organization moving forward, and that is getting rid of a cancer inside this franchise. And there is no question he is that. Look, I have been the last person to get on this train. Hand up. Last person. I'm going to give Derek Carr the benefit of the doubt early on. I thought Derek Carr played through injuries. I thought more often than not, Derek Carr said the right things. I thought at times Derek Carr played reasonably decent football. But this is all trumping that. And you've fired the coach. You've got a new coach in there. You understand there has to be a rebuild at this point. You understand that. If you can get any asset whatsoever for this cancer in your locker room, you do it. If you can't, you cut the cancer out. You move forward. Your worst football team in 2025 with Spencer Rattler playing quarterback or some rookie that you draft with the 9th or 40th pick, your worst team. I don't care. This guy wants out. He does not want to be part of your team. There's nothing that is keeping him tethered to this group. And if you think it's dead money, forget it. That precedent was moved on from when the Denver Broncos said, you know what, Russell Wilson? See ya. And guess what? They went to the frickin' playoffs. You can fix this issue, and it doesn't have to happen immediately. The only thing that has to happen immediately is you get rid of the issue, and then you move forward as an organization without this guy. The fact that this many reporters now have this story, the fact that there were issues around the shoulder injury in the first place, raised some red flags. Look, if you can find a dance partner like the Pittsburgh Steelers who are willing to take this C-tier NFL quarterback and try to win with him in hopes that he doesn't cry like this when you pick him up, fine. Put Spencer Rattler under center, draft a quarterback when you feel it's right. Do your best to try to fill out the rest of the roster and plug some holes where they exist and get rid of Derek Carr. That's it. I've said my piece on the matter. Jordan, I know you've been in this camp for a while.
Oh yeah, I've been operating the train.
What's your blood pressure like when you see these reports now come out over the last 40? Do you even care, or are you just completely over it?
I don't really care no more because it just shows that I wasn't a madman. You know, I used to come on here, I'd be like, man, we got to get rid of Carr. You know, nobody believed me at first, but we as fans, we seen this phony from a mile away. I'm gonna tell you what happened. First and furthermost, you know, he played through the injuries. That's cool. But what we saw was, how can you get hurt in a game and then be immediately ready to go the very next game? Like, you leave a game injured and be ready to go the very next game. That was always the whole Jameis. Oh, can Jameis start? And I'm not saying Jameis is better than Derek Carr. No, these are two, if you ask me, two backup quarterbacks. I don't think Carr's a starter. Like, I'm past that. But from that was my red flag. And then, you know, you wasn't around during the Super Bowl. You never really come around. Nobody has seen Derek Carr out and about in the city. Nobody has seen him at a restaurant. He's in Paris. Yeah, he's in Paris.
He's doing YouTube shows.
Yeah, you know, he's a content creator now with his new paycheck. You know, Mickey Loomis coughed up that money when he didn't have to do that. And now that's what Derek Carr said. Oh, thanks for the money, Mickey. Bring my whole family to all paid expenses to Paris. You know, on our dime. Well, not my dime. It ain't my money, so I'm going to shut up right there. But on the city's dime, I'll say that. On the city's dime. This guy is a fraud. He's a phony. And honestly, yeah, we will be a worse team without him this year. But he wasn't moving the needle like we was going to be amazing. You know, it wasn't like – yeah.
I got news for you. Might be okay to be worse this year.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, and I know that it doesn't ring true to anybody, but I'm just trying to speak off personal experience. Like, I watched the Cubs completely tank and get worse. And they ended up with the second pick in the draft, and they took Chris Bryant, and he won the MVP, and he made the last out of the World Series. Like, it's not fun. It's not comfortable. It's not a great thing to do, and the Saints fans haven't gone through a rebuild in a long time.
Very long.
Sometimes you got to hold your nose. You got to jump in the deep end, and you'll come out on the other end. I can't tell you if it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You'll come out eventually. It's not fun, but it is what it is. And we've known that they had to do this. You got to get rid of Derek Carr. There is no utility for him in this organization anymore. And for those that suggest, well, let's give him what he wants. Give him what he wants.
Yeah,
go.
Get him out of here.
Get out. All right, SEC Baseball Power Rankings next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
So fired up to welcome a new sponsor to our program. That, of course, is Renaissance Homes and Pools. It's a lot of time in our year where we can enjoy the backyard. You can enjoy the swimming pool during the really, really warm months. You can enjoy the outdoor seating area 12 months out of the year, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, something attached to the pool, whatever the case may be. If you're looking to add on to your home and want to do so in the backyard, I just cannot more strongly recommend Renaissance Homes and Pools. Joey Blanchard is right here in Baton Rouge, a local company. And what I love about dealing with Renaissance Homes and Pools is you're going to deal with Joey every step of the way. You're going to deal with him in the initial consultation. You may go out in the backyard and see him actually digging the pools. He's done that on many occasions. Sometimes somebody needs a break. He jumps in there. He handles it. It's a local organization that's going to give you incredible customer service and an amazing expertise in the outdoor construction space. If you're thinking about getting that outdoor kitchen, you're thinking about putting that pool in, have a conversation. That doesn't cost anything. Go see Joey Blanchard and the team at Renaissance Homes and Pools. BuiltByRenaissance.com is the website. That's BuiltByRenaissance.com. And Joey's number, it's his cell number. You're going to get the number of the owner of the company. 225-252-7745. That's 225-252-7745. Renaissance Homes and Pools, BuiltByRenaissance.com.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We do it every single week at this time. It is time to go through our SEC baseball power rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Building a little drama there. The Arkansas Razorbacks did lose a series at Georgia this weekend. I still got them at the top. They lost a pair of one-run games after hammering Georgia in the series opener. I thought they played well over the weekend. I still think they're the most complete team in the SEC right now. Yeah, they lost the weekend at Georgia. That's a team that's in the top 5 in the country. I don't think that's a crime. So I got Arkansas at the top, number 2.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
I got Tennessee at 2. I know Texas is ranked number 1 in the country. I think Tennessee's better than Texas. I think they've got a better ace than Texas. I think they've got a more powerful offense than Texas. Texas is the only team in the league that has not lost a series yet, but I think Tennessee is better. I think Arkansas and Tennessee right now are the best 2 teams in the league, and I had that last week. I've got it again this week. The Vols went to Oxford, nearly were beaten in that series, but hit a big home run late in the rubber game to win it. I think that's a really good team, so I've got Arkansas 1, Tennessee 2.
The Texas Longhorns.
I do have Texas at number 3. Moved them up a spot this week from number 4. Again, the only team in the SEC that has not lost a series thus far. Haven't really missed Max Ballou all that much. Jared Spencer has been very, very good. I think it's a really good team. I think it's a national championship caliber team. I think it's the third best team in the SEC. I'll leave them right there.
The LSU Tigers.
Still got LSU there at number 4. I think this weekend was a bad weekend. I think Georgia had a bad weekend 2 weeks ago. I think Tennessee had a bad day 2 weeks ago. I think that LSU has a really good ace. I think that LSU has a really complete offense that hasn't produced to the level it should the last 2 weeks. We'll see after this week against Alabama. You lose 2 out of 3, and this one won't be moving things around significantly. Right now, I've got LSU at number 4.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Really nice series win for the Dogs against Arkansas, and they pitched it a little bit better after they got smoked on Friday. On Saturday, they came back and held Arkansas to 6. On Sunday, they held them to 6 as well. You say, hold them to 6. Well, Arkansas is averaging like 11.5 runs a game in league play, and Foley Field isn't exactly the best place to pitch. So I think Georgia's looking a little bit better. Leighton Finley has been pretty good arm for them to this point. So Georgia's good. I've got them at number 5.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
How about the Rebs? Playing well. Lost a heartbreaker of a series to Arkansas, who I've got 1. Lost a heartbreaker of a series to Tennessee, who I've got at 2. Both of those were in Oxford, but I think Ole Miss can play with the big boys. They've proven that. Do I love their rotation after Hunter Elliott? I do not. I think their offense is good. They're hitting a ton of home runs. Ole Miss is very much in play to be a regional host at this point, so I got the Rebs in at number 6.
The Auburn Tigers.
We saw Auburn over the weekend. Got to tip your cap to Sam Dutton. I've kind of bemoaned him as an SEC ace. Thought, well, I've watched him for 3 years. That doesn't look like a Friday guy to me. Well, he did against LSU. He did against Alabama. He has multiple times this year. And they've pitched pretty good behind him. Certainly did over the weekend. Offense looked legit against LSU, led by Irish and McMurray. Some freshmen swung the bats well. So good on Butch Thompson and Auburn. Got them up to number 7. That's up 2 spots from last week.
Texas A&M!
Am I crazy? I had A&M at like 14 2 weeks ago. They've won 5 games in a row in league play, 7 in a row, period. That's a lot of talent. Prager's not pitching great at the front of the rotation, which is not good for them. We'll talk to Joe Healy about that tomorrow. But they've got talent, and now they're 6-9 in the league. That's a spot you can make up some ground. Now, they got to go to Arkansas. They got to go to Texas. LSU comes in. It's a tough go. Still got to go to Athens as well. But they got the sweep of South Carolina, scored 1 billion runs doing it. Good on the Aggies. They're up to number 8, up 2 spots from last week.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy went to Oklahoma, lost 2 out of 3, did not swing the bats well at all, and they're the worst power-hitting team in the SEC. They're the SEC leader in ERA, so that's the way they're going to try to play things. I think that's a tough way to do it, but they've dropped 2 spots. They're middle-of-the-pack team for me in the SEC.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky played tough over the weekend. They played a weekend against Texas in Lexington. They stuck with it, but ultimately didn't have enough to get over the finish line. I moved them up 2 spots for playing tough, but I think that's a team that's going to fight to make the NCAA tournament. I think that's what Kentucky is at this point. I think they'll make it, but they're going to have to fight to get there.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Left Oklahoma at number 11. They've been there for 3 straight weeks. Got a great ace. What else is there? Nice weekend to beat Vandy 2 out of 3. Nice weekend at home to beat Vandy 2 out of 3. I just don't know that there's much else there that moves my needle. I don't think they're dropping. I don't think they're moving up. They're just a team with a really good ace who was awesome over the weekend, and a team that I think is gonna be a mediocre SEC team moving forward. So I got them at 11.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama comes in this weekend. I've moved them back 4 spots from 8 to 12 this week. They lost 2 out of 3 to Mississippi State. They got 2 hits in Game 3 of that series. In SEC games only, Bama's 15th in the league in batting average, 15th in home run, and 14th in steals. That means they're not hitting the ball over the fence, they're not getting a ton of hits, and they're not stealing any bases. That's a hard way to score runs. So they got Justin LeBron, who's the best player in the league. What else they got? Not great. They got Alabama down at number 12.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
My bottom 4 remain the same. Mississippi State at 13. They have won 2 series in a row. They're slugging a little bit. Pico Khan's throwing it pretty well, so they got a long way to go to get back in this thing. Long way to go to get there, but they do have a manageable way to make that happen. Nice series win over Alabama over the weekend, so State's at 13.
The Florida Gators.
They swept Missouri. Good on you, Florida, for getting that sweep. You still are not very good and way, way too hurt. So I've got Kevin O'Sullivan's Gators down at number 14.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
I cannot think of a more demoralizing weekend for South Carolina. They get walked off in Game 1 in College Station. They lose Game 2 17-0. Then they get a 10-run lead in Game 3 and blow it, giving up 2 grand slams in the 9th inning, including a walk-off. So walk-off, absolute annihilation, blown big lead. Can't think of a worse way to lose a weekend. South Carolina is 2-13. Paul Maneri's got to be looking at this going, what did I get myself into?
The Missouri Tigers.
And Missouri's 0-15. I don't know how to contextualize 0-15 any better than telling you that they haven't won a league game yet. That's really, really hard to do. But Missouri's pulled it off. So that's your SEC power rankings to this point. I'll churn through them one more time. Arkansas, Tennessee, Texas, LSU at 4, Georgia at 5, Ole Miss at 6, Auburn 7, Texas A&M 8, Vanderbilt at 9, Kentucky's at 10, Oklahoma at 11, Alabama 12, Mississippi State 13, Florida 14, South Carolina 15, and Missouri at 16. Those are your power rankings this week. Just for good measure, I'll tell you what LSU has left on the schedule in their final 5 SEC weeks. You will play Alabama, who I have at number 12. Then you will welcome in Tennessee, who I've got at 2. Then you will travel to College Station to play A&M. I've got them at 8. Then you will play Arkansas. I've got them at 1. And then you have got the South Carolina Gamecocks at 15. So LSU's schedule is balanced here. You've got 1 and 2 left on the schedule. You've got 8 left on the schedule. And then you've got 12 and 15 left on the schedule. So 2 elite teams, 2 bad teams, 1 team right smack dab in the middle per my power rankings. Pretty balanced into the schedule for LSU. We'll see how they can navigate that to see if they can get a top 8 national seed. Those are your SEC power rankings. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll come back with a little bit more on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Insurance, not the most fun thing in the world to talk about. Maybe all your insurance conversations are always the same. You always look at that premium. You always try to see where you can potentially shave off some of that price. You always feel like you're paying too much. You always feel like it's a 5% increase, an 8% increase, a 30% increase. If that's the case every time you have this conversation and you feel like you may be a qualifying business for a captive, contact Jonathan Carbo and the Highland Insurance Group. They handle captives every single day. It's a completely different way to handle your insurance program and your risk management. If you qualify, you can get into a captive. It may be a game changer for you on the bottom line. Call the Highland Insurance Group and ask about it. Go to HighlandIG.com and reach out. Captive insurance, I believe, is the future of insurance for those that qualify. Got to be a business, got to spend a significant amount. But if you do, call the Highland Insurance Group. Find them online at HighlandIG.com and see about a captive. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
We're going to do a lot tomorrow. We're going to talk to Joe Healy from D1 Baseball's SEC Extra Team to get ready for the SEC weekend, including LSU, Alabama. We're going to talk to Preston Guy on LSU spring football for a recap of that. What else do we always have? We have Chris Blair on Thursday, so we'll do that as well. Got to get you ready for LSU and Alabama from that perspective. We'll get some Saints conversation with Derek Carr and whatever the latest is on that. And it'll be our last show of this week. And then I'm out all next week for a little bit of vacation time. I did an atrocious job last year of taking vacation. Showed up at the end of December, and I'm looking at this going, this is just way too much vacation. I didn't take nearly enough time off. So we're going to try to remedy that a little bit this year and take a little bit of time. So we'll be off next week. So looking forward to tomorrow's show, and then I'll be out of Dodge for just a bit. So excited to wrap things up on tomorrow's show. We got to wrap things up on today's show. A little bit of Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Just take it. All right, so this Take It or Leave It is kind of like a, how do you want to say, a Nico version, just a bunch of Nicos. So on Tuesday, NBA insider Mark Stein reported Nico Harrison and Rick Welch were holding a roundtable to meet the media members. In addition to only selected members were invited, meaning that there was no cameras or audio recordings of this. They were not permitted. Nico Harrison was quoted saying, "There was no regrets to the trade," talking about the Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis trade. "No regrets to the trade. Part of my job is to do the best thing for the Mavericks, not only today, but also in the future. And some of the decisions I'm going to make are going to be unpopular. That's my job, and I stand by it." Do you believe Nico? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I believe him. I think that if you make a decision that monumental, that you feel like you did the right thing. I don't think he would have done that thinking that that's the wrong thing to do. I think that hosting this roundtable with selected media members and not allowing cameras
or audio recordings
is insane. I think that's absurd.
Yes.
Like, this is not a trial where you may perjure yourself.
Yeah.
This is simply the media asking questions about a very public trade. They can't ask you really anything you're not prepared for. You just need to be able to
taste the music. Like,
to talk about it. And I just trying to control the situation to that degree is ridiculous. I think I probably take up for the media more than most of the public, being that I have a degree in journalism and do this for a living. But like, that's indefensible. Like, you have to hold a press conference. No one's going to attack you. No one's going to slander you. They're going to ask you questions about the decision that you made, and you should be able to face that. It's not, I mean, this is not life and death. You traded a basketball player.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous to try. This is not, I mean, I realize I'm being hyperbolic and I'm doing that intentionally, so don't conflate murder trials and basketball, but like, okay, you don't want, you're taking the stand in a murder trial. You don't want to do an interview with 60 Minutes. Got it.
Guys,
you traded a basketball player. Let's have a press conference. That's pretty simple to me.
You're a star basketball player. Let's keep that in mind.
Well,
like, you should have to answer to doing that. So, quickly, company Christmas parties in April. Take it or leave it.
Not in April. The invite is in April.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see that in my inbox today. Guarantee is ahead of the game on the Christmas party. We got our invite in April. That's the earliest Christmas party invite I've ever gotten. Yes. So I accept it. I'll be there. Looking very much forward to it. I'll take it. But I don't think I've ever gotten one in April before. So that's
it's first time for everything.
Guarantee ahead of the game on the Christmas party front.
Yes. All right. Let's get to the other Nico. Coach Urban Meyer.
Double
Nikos. Coach Urban Meyer says there's a lasting consequence for Nico Iamaleava. I've been practicing saying that.
Good job.
Thank you. He explained on the Triple Option podcast, here's the reality. Tennessee is screwed. They got a problem. You lose a potential high draft pick. You have a backup quarterback last year who was a redshirt that threw 9 passes as a freshman. You have 0 experience, and the portal opens as we speak. They're going to have to go get one, meaning a quarterback. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it that they're up against it.
Yes.
They do now have very public persona that's out there that, hey, we have $3 million to spend. It's already been earmarked, and you can come play for a pretty good program. And so they're attractive. I don't know what's available. Nobody can transfer from an SEC school to them, but they do have money available if somebody wants to jump in and test the waters that is a high-profile player. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I'm fascinated, if disenchanted, by this entire process.
Yes.
But that has been very well stated. I wish none of this happened, but it is what it is. And I think a lot of people made a lot of mistakes here. We'll see if I'm proven wrong. Could easily happen. Somebody comes up with a ton of money for Nico, and Tennessee ends up with a really good quarterback, and kumbaya. But that all very much remains to be seen. So that's it for Take It or Leave It. That's it for really the entirety of our Wednesday show. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. You're looking to get that outdoor area set up. No better number to call than the folks at Renaissance Pools. And that number at Renaissance Pools, that's Joey Blanchard's cell phone number. Of course, it's 225, because they're a local company right here. 252-7745. 252-7745. Get that outdoor kitchen put in. Get that swimming pool put in. In a matter of weeks, you can be swimming in your pool. And we know that you can swim here until probably November at this point. Renaissance Homes and Pools, great new Wednesday sponsor of the Hunt Palmer Show, and we certainly appreciate their partnership. Open the show with the Saints have to draft a quarterback. Koki Riley talks some LSU baseball. We played What If Wednesday. My thoughts on LSU and McNeese at the end of the hour. Deep dive on the statistics of LSU baseball. Saints have got to cut Derek Carr. I talked about that as well. And the power rankings for the SEC. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. We certainly do appreciate that. We're out of here. We're back tomorrow, same time and same place, with a lot to do. Have a great, a happy, a safe Wednesday. See you tomorrow on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal